So this is Douglas the man. So we talked quite a lot about his creations. We talked a little bit about him, but I specifically wanted to do something with a bit more about the man himself. And I have a biographer of the man, O.J. Simpson, someone who worked reasonably closely and interviewed him as a fan and then worked with him. Davies, and his sister, Sue Adams. So this is our panel, and we're going to talk about Douglas Adams, the man.
We've got a week for
So he was tall, I heard. How tall was he?
No. More than that. No.
Anybody above 5'9".
He always used to say he was 6'5", but I think it was 6'4 3/4. But he just wanted that extra.
I think.
We saw his 4 3/4 when he walked into the scene.
There were times when he seemed to be quite fascinated by other tall comedians. So I think he always quoted 6'5" because Graham Chapman was 6'5".
Yeah.
Who else was? How tall was John Cleese?
I think John Cleese is about the same as Chapman, I would have thought. And then the history of talk with Tommy Cooper was very tall. But comedians tend to be either very tall or very small. Or very fat or very thin.
No such thing as an average comedian.
Average comedians don't get very far. And here I am.
It's their unique perspective on the world.
But he was very tall as a boy, wasn't he? And yet everybody, got off on the field trip, and at the end at 12 o'clock everybody meet under Adams.
Yeah, Waterloo Station, it's normally meet under the clock, would meet under Adams. And he was having to have sort of clothes and I think even a bed at one stage at school. They had to bring a bigger bed in for him at boarding school because his feet went over the edge of the ones that they had. Yeah. I can remember once when I was working in London and he came to meet me after work and he came up in the lift and I was waiting for the lift to come up and I had somebody else with me and the doors open and she just went, bloody hell, who are you?
It was a sound effect.
Yeah, there wasn't a sound effect. It was quiet, but there was the bloody hell, who are you? As she got a crick in the neck looking up.
One of his geography teachers once said to him, Adams, you have a lot in common with Canada. You're both a great lumbering region.
The other story about his height was that in his final, so Brentwood School had what they call a preparatory school before you went to the main school at 11-ish.
Yeah.
And so if you were at the prep school, you wore shorts, but if you went in the main school, you wore long, tweedy trousers.
Yeah.
And so Douglas was very tall and still wearing shorts when he was 10, 11. And apparently your mother asked for permission for him to wear long trousers while he was still at the prep, which were not given. So that he didn't get his mother asked that he could wear long trousers.
It was quite common in those days. The boys simply did not wear long trousers. I don't think I wore long trousers until I was 8. Yeah, it was quite common. Small boys wear shorts.
And then so come the summer before he went up to the main school where you had to go and buy your school uniforms, he went with his mother or grandmother to buy his school uniform. And I think at Brentwood it was the first 2 years of main school had a different uniform to the rest of the school. So the first 2 years were called the junior school, and you had a different uniform. When he went to buy his school uniform, they didn't have the particular junior school trousers in his size, so he had to wear short trousers. Yes. So he was the only boy at the main Brentwood school still wearing short trousers when he started at the main school, and I think that was quite disturbing.
Yes, it was. It didn't sort of go down very well, and it's not someone that he wasn't someone at that time that needed to be pointed out and made an exception of, and I don't think it went down very well. No.
So he was tall, and there was a period where he was quite chunky.
He was, yes, I shouldn't speak. But also, he wasn't very well coordinated. He could be a little clumsy, and when Polly, his daughter, started doing rather well she loves football and she plays football for university and everything else, and also tennis and swimming and everything else. They weren't quite sure where this eyeball coordination came from, because it certainly wasn't Douglas. I can remember on a different subject, I said to Mum once, I said, how come Douglas has got, he's got the talent, he's got this, he's got that, what have I got? I was feeling a bit amused, and he said, believe you me, you have all his common sense.
The other one of the stories, we'll see if this one's true with Sue, about his clumsiness was that he managed to break his nose playing rugby, which isn't particularly uncommon. The uncommon part of Douglas's story is that he broke it on his own knee.
So I've heard the same thing. I don't actually remember it personally, but it's been in the family for a long time, so I assume it would be. It sounds as though it's something that Douglas would do.
So breaking your nose on your own knee sounds quite uncoordinated thing.
I'm trying to picture how that happened.
I do remember. I don't actually, as I say, remember him coming home with a broken nose or when he was at school, but I do remember it being talked about in the family way back.
One of the things at school that requires coordination, which I assume Dr. talking about, I was told there was a combined cadet force at Brentwood. Do you have any memories of him in uniform trying to march up and down?
Wow.
No.
He may have been let off that because,
It was like his driving. It was atrocious. Again, he needed coordination and it wasn't there.
Do we want to talk about the cars he wrote off?
Didn't he famously crash one into the Hard Rock Cafe or something? He walked away and just went home. Porsche as well, it's a Porsche.
I was going to say the Porsche was the main one.
So after getting some of the financial remuneration from writing a best-selling book, Douglas was living with a guy called John Cantor.
Yeah.
After they moved out of 29 Arlington Avenue, they moved to Kingstown Road, which is where Douglas wrote the book. And John Cantor has a story, he told it on the radio. Douglas went out to buy some Coke and came back with a complete tray, like 28 or whatever.
Slab. It's known as a slab.
Okay. A slab of cans of Coke. And John said, why you only went out for Coke, you come back with this many? It's like, well, I just could. because he'd been through that period. So like, what's the story about how much money he earned the year he wrote Hitchhikers?
Well, I mean, in the immediate post-Cambridge era, he was poor as a church mouse, and when the sort of the what was left of Adam Smith Adams was trying to do stuff, they would sort of have an OXO cube between the two, and they I think it was 4 at the time. They cut it up into quarters, and each of them got a quarter of an OXO cube in a mug of boiling water, and that was one. So he'd been through that. So being able to buy 28 cans of Coca-Cola at the same time, you could fully understand it.
Well, I mean, as children, I can remember Mum saying, she had whatever it was, and it was either did she buy some shampoo or did she buy a loaf of bread. I mean, she couldn't afford both, so the background was not going out and buying a slab of cans of Coke.
So he then moved on to acquiring a car habit, and there was the Porsche that got written off, and yes, he just there was also the Porsche that he took to the garage. Do you know the garage story?
No, I don't. Yes.
So he took a Porsche to the garage to be serviced, and they serviced it, and he was due to collect it the next day, and the garage burnt down. And they sent him the bill. What? Because they had serviced it. And they'd finished the service had done. It's like
Oh, for the car, not for the garage.
Just for the car, yes.
They billed him for the service. Sorry, I should make that clear. They billed him for the service because the service had been done. He didn't get the car back, but they billed him for the service. So he had his unlucky things. There's also a story from the Last Chance to See when he was travelling around the world with Mark Cowarding, and Douglas was bought lots of camera equipment. So
And he was always buying things, yes.
and he bought this fantastic lens, and it was sort of like showed it to Mark on the plane, and then sort of like, and Douglas used to pack too much, and so it's like he when he'd been rearranging all his stuff on the plane, after a while, after they got off, Mark realised that Douglas left this lens, but that he'd done it on purpose because he just decided that it was just like he couldn't fit it in his bag,
Couldn't fit it in.
so he bought it at the duty free or something. And this was like a lens that Mark Holding could never have afforded to buy ever in his life, and Douglas just left it on a plane because it was a bit bulky.
He also, on Last Chance to See, recorded everything on whatever the latest spec of electronic notebook was, and put it in his back pocket and sat down on a rock, and then had to remember everything.
One of the things of Last Chance to See, which I think is my favourite book and favourite bit of the whole book, is he's up with the gorillas, and he's lying in the bush or whatever, and he said he could see the gorillas, and one of the big gorillas was getting closer and closer, and he said any bit of paper that he'd been able to buy to write his notes on, obviously because he sat on this thing, was this pink paper, and he said, that I was writing on the paper, and this gorilla just came over very, very gently, put his hand out, and just touched the pen and touched the paper. He said not to take it away, he just needed to feel what it was like. And Douglas said, I was so overwhelmed, I felt like getting out my camera and showing him that too. Without the lens.
Although he did say about his cameras, I do remember in the interview that we did, the one that you've probably seen clips of and various things, the one that was on the roof garden, he's got the hitchhiker towel over his shoulder. And
You did that for that one.
yeah, it was for the first Lazlar Lyricon, that's because he couldn't make it, he was going to be at a book fair in San Francisco that weekend. So he did a message for us and an interview. And it was during that he was talking about his trip to Madagascar. He'd only just come back from his very first trip that kicked off the whole cycle of things that ended up with.
Thought was a mistake on the.
Yes, he said he got invited by the
yeah.
Observer, said come and visit Madagascar and we want you to write about it. They wanted somebody who had no background knowledge of the topic to go with Mark Harvey. That's where he first met him. And when we interviewed him, he just got back from that trip and he was full of enthusiasm for what he'd seen. But he said they went to see the eye in the deep dark forest late at night. And he said, unlike the other lemurs of Madagascar, for instance, the ring-tailed lemurs, the eye is very difficult to spot, but the ring-tailed lemur is very easy to spot. In fact, if you just stand there long enough, one of them will run up the side of you and ram a banana in the back of your Nikon.
He was actually the second part. It was a sort of ongoing project that the Observer had to send non sort of nature people out there. The first thing they sent Gore Vidal to the Mongolian desert with his assistant named Austin.
Douglas always said that he thought it was a mistake, so he quickly said yes before in case they realised their mistake.
So, Kevin, so that interview was at the Roof Garden House?
Yeah, May 85. Yeah.
The flat he lived in before that was Holloway Park Road. You went to
It
a
was.
party.
I went to Doug was very he was very generous when it came to things. I don't remember. We didn't
He's
talk about it on the
very
Rainbow
generous.
panel, but he during the rehearsal period and a couple of days before the Rainbow opened, he took most of the cast, which included David Lerner and myself. He said, "Well, let's all go out to dinner. We're going to go to a Turkish restaurant." I'd never been to anything like that before. And I was patting my pockets thinking, I wonder if I've got, if I've got the money for this. Didn't need to worry. At the end of the meal, he paid for everyone. And what was the question? About the thing.
The TV rap party.
The rap party. So then, yes, we all got invited to his flat to see episode 2 as it was broadcast. And so there was it was just an ordinary flat. It wasn't anything particularly showbizy or spectacular. In Highbury New Park, it was second floor or something. It was quite high up. Terry Jones was there in his carpet slippers. I remember that. Susan Morgan's friend of mine was very excited about
Not
that.
just carpet slippers, I thought.
Sorry?
Not just carpet
No,
slippers.
not just his carpet.
I was going to say he quite often went around with not else much on, yes.
Yes, the organ player. But there were 40 of us, about 40 of us, crammed into his living room with David Dixon pressed right up against the telly practically. And we all watched as episode 2 was broadcast. We'd just wrapped a couple of days earlier on episode 6, the studio day had happened. So it was very close to transmission. There was only 1 month to go before that episode would be on TV. So, at the party there was a chap sitting right next to us on the sofa, all scrambled, all crushed up together. And I didn't know who he was until he sort of moved around and sat in front of us a bit and then looked round and went, "I'm sorry, am I in your way?" That's the first time I met Stephen Moore. And what was also funny, I remember at that party, was David Dixon being crammed right up close to the TV. There'd been a thing, I've got it in my scrapbook somewhere, the cutting, where one of the newspapers had taken an item from, I'm guessing, the agent of Rainer Burton. Now, Rainer Burton played the newsreader who was on the screen of The Heart of Gold.
You know him from Rocky Horror.
He was the original Rocky in Rocky Horror, and in another meaningless coincidences, was also at one time boyfriend of my boss on Roger Rabbit. Anyway, so in the newspaper it said in the listings bit, because they had this little tiny slug, a little article about original Rocky is now in this episode of Hitchhiker's Guide. The then listing part of the night's viewing, it said Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, whatever time it was, 9 o'clock, BBC 2, starring Simon Jones and Rainer Burton. So of course David Dixon had bristled slightly at this. And then at the end of the episode, as the titles went up, David Dixon went round to the room and went, "Let's hear it from Rainer Burton!" We all applauded. But no, at that party, Douglas and Tim Sylvester and Tim Sylvester was at that party, and I think it must have been Paddy Kingsland. They were all standing around in a separate room. I can't remember, it's like a dining room area or something. And they were having a sort of heated debate. They were getting very excited about the fact that they'd had the idea, wouldn't it be funny if Marvin made a record? And they were discussing what they might do with Marvin. They just thought it was hilarious, the idea of Marvin singing. And I wonder if Stephen Moore might have been involved in that discussion, because he was definitely there. So that might be the party where that idea was hatched.
You just sold one at the auction. It's heading to Brazil.
There was actually a third unreleased Marvin single, as well as Marvin and Metal Man.
Yeah.
Stephen Moore recorded a Christmas record, but as far as I know, the only copy that exists is an audio cassette somewhere in Stephen Moore's house. It was never released, but see if he still got it anywhere.
I'll tell you what,
We're in the very early stages of planning an archive hour radio documentary in time for the birthday next March, the 40th anniversary of the first Hitchhiker show. And with Dirk Maggs' company and his producer David Morley, we've been discussing it for some months now, but Dirk has been very tied up in other things. He's been finishing the Aliens and X-Files radio show.
That's why I couldn't come up yesterday. He was going to try and do a round robin and just come up yesterday for the day, but
too tired.
He said common sense prevailed.
The journey was too much, I think. But anyway, he says hello to everyone. I know that he was very aware that this was happening this weekend. But they've got big plans to do this documentary, maybe we should try and find that record.
I think that's, yes.
Yeah, that's an idea. I didn't know about that, but thanks for that, Timo. We'll look into that one and see if we can bring it to the airwaves for the first time ever.
That would be great.
That would be good, wouldn't it? We've got lots of other things to talk about for that show, but it will have a lot of new material.
We were talking about parties, so Sue, did you ever go to any of the Duncan Terrace parties?
Yes, I also went to an upper street party back then, which was really great. You used to go up these long empty stairs and top you out the door, and as soon as you walked into the door, the first thing that was there was the bar. And the party that I went to there, Tom Baker decided he wanted to play barman. There was a swing doors at the end, and he was going in and out, sort of pretending, and he was Clint Eastwood, I think, at one stage. And as long as the booze was flowing, so Tom was pouring. There were a lot of bad heads the next day. I mean, they're literally up on the roof, they had a big bath and all these big buckets, and they were full of iced waters, a bottle of champagne. It was bring a bottle, but the bottle was a champagne. But it was a good party.
We went to the Upper Street flat, which I saw that interview with Sally Emerson talking about it, saying you got this very show-busy flat, she called it. And it reminded me, because I hadn't thought about it for ages, I was reading this the other day, that it had a green spiral staircase up to the roof garden. Now this is where we shot that interview. I was very new to the whole idea of directing in those days, so I very stupidly putting him up against the fence. What I should have done, the trick is, when you do stuff like that, is to put the camera in the corner and use the whole of the garden as the backdrop behind your subject. I didn't know that then. So we thought we were trying to just buff it against the wind, so the wind didn't rattle the microphone. And this green spiral staircase, we had to get all the camera gear up. So it was not terrible, but it was. I'm glad I wasn't involved with lugging the gear. To be honest, it'd be worse nowadays.
Is that on your YouTube channel?
There are clips of it. I've got the whole interview, but I've never put the whole thing up because, of course, every now and again another project comes around where we can use another snippet. And since none of us got paid and there was nothing in writing with Douglas,
That went on a lot.
yeah,
Not getting
we
paid.
just did it for fun for Lazlar Lyricon, really. So it was done on favours and promises, and so we've never charged for the clip. It's been in lots of documentaries, but there's never been any exchange of money for it. But I just want to eke it out bit by bit as different projects like Doctor Who DVDs. They want to talk to him about whichever Doctor Who story it was, so we give them that bit. The interview covered his whole career, so well, not entirely his whole career, but it covered a variety of subjects. So we kind of.
When he needed to sit down and write, which we all know was quite painful, working from home became a bit of an issue. It was just trying to get yourself into work mode. So what he used to do, he had this exercise bicycle, so he'd go on that for about 20 minutes in the morning, and that was him psychologically going to work, and then he was going to go through to his office to do his writing. The problem is, the kitchen was between. Oh, well, I'll just get a cup of coffee to go. Oh, well, maybe I'll just have another piece of toast. So this journey between getting off his bicycle and getting to work lasted a bit longer than it should have done.
Yeah, there was
Peanut butter sandwiches and cups of tea.
this afternoon at 2:30. We've got a panel which I've spent quite a long time preparing for, which is a lot of very rare material you're going to get to see of stuff that nobody's ever seen before from Douglas's archive. And in it there was some stuff about the whole business of ending up in the kitchen. It was to do with Wonko the Same, his view on the world. And he was the man who had the idea of where the dolphins go. They left by their own volition. And it's all to do with teleportation, basically. The trick is to, you've heard of absent-mindedness, but there's also absent-bodiedness. The trick is just to forget to be here. That's how you end up somewhere else, and invariably you'll end up in the kitchen. And it's in Meaning of Life as well, isn't it? Standing in the kitchen wondering why you came in there. Probably because you teleported.
So, on his health and sort of fitness side of things, when he was writing Hitchhiker, he went for runs around the Stallbridge.
Yes, he did do these phases, shall I say.
He got enthusiastic about things and did them.
To death, yes, yes, and then suddenly went off the idea again. He was quite good at doing that. Yes, he did go through fits and starts of health. It was like his smoking. He said it was so easy to give up smoking. He'd done it so many times before, which my mother used to play on for years. She never gave up smoking. And it was ironic that he was actually probably living his healthiest lifestyle that he ever did when he died. He was, well, you probably all know, he was on a treadmill. He'd literally just been warming up. He wasn't, in high level cardio or anything. He was just had a warm up. And Peter, his trainer, turned round just to get him some water and a towel. And he turned round and Douglas just fell on the floor. He started CPR straight away and the paramedics were with him within 3 minutes, but they couldn't get his heart going again. But he was going to the gym, he was eating the healthiest he'd done nearly for all his life. He was living the California healthy lifestyle. And so it was very ironic that he actually went then. He'd had a bit of a blip a few weeks before and they'd taken him off and done a whole load of tests, but they couldn't find anything wrong. But obviously there was a problem. But no, like most of us in our family, I think it came from my father or our father. Weight used to go up and down quite regularly, and we all had that, and my father was exactly the same, so we've got him to blame, because he was 6'4". My mother was 5'4", so I take after her. People used to look at me and look at Douglas and sort of think, are you brother and sister? Then they'd see mum. But no, Dad was 6'4". That was a very troubled relationship, shall we say, between Douglas and our father. He never really saw eye to eye. That was quite a difficult relationship.
You very rarely mention him. When I was writing the book, I got almost nothing. Nick Webb got a little bit more, but it was a really obvious gap.
It was. I mean, it was very, very difficult to say. Our parents split when I was 2 and Douglas was 5. Our father married again when I was 6, he was 9, and we didn't know anything about it until it happened. We hadn't even met our stepmother or anything else. So our childhood was a little bizarre, to say the least, and in the 50s, broken homes weren't the norm. And we lived a very, very different lifestyle between the two sides of the family. My stepmother had money, our side didn't. So during the week, we'd be at home going to school, and our family transport was a bicycle. And then at weekends, a bit later on, we'd go and spend a weekend with our father and stepmother. And at one stage, my father was driving an Aston Martin, so you can see the difference. And for us to be continually going from one to another was difficult. It was difficult. It was, and I think this is where Douglas had some of the things, especially when he first made money. He was a bit like Dad, got money, wanted to go and spend it. But the difference was, Douglas wanted to share it. He was a great, great sharer. He wanted other people to benefit from his success, especially his family and friends. His mum, our mum, was the most important thing. I think probably till Polly came along. But he was a very, very generous person. And with his time, he used to, if somebody wanted to do something but wasn't quite sure whether they should, whether they had the confidence or whatever, Douglas would get behind them and say, come on, you can do this. And he would really help people and spur people on. And there's a lot of people that have said that they wouldn't be where they were today if it wasn't for Douglas, because he just gave them that extra push.
I always got the impression when I was talking with Maggie Phillips at Vector, my contact, that she had to be kind of a barrier because she knew Douglas would just agree to everything.
Yes.
And so they had to have somebody there to say, no, you can't, it'd be lovely, but you can't do that for you because 100 other people have to do it at the same time.
This is exactly the same thing with Stephen Fry, actually. Jo used to say the same. She always used to say, never ask Stephen, always come through me, because Stephen just says yes to everything. And then we look at his diary and then realise, oh shit.
Yeah, this is what, when we did the 2012 virtual 60th birthday party for Douglas, some months before we did an interview with Stephen Fry, because he was going to be abroad when that happened, but he wanted me to take part, so we did an interview with him, and he also recorded something, a message that was done as a CGI of him. That was kind of fun, a virtual Stephen. But when he turned up to do that interview, which we did at the Google's London headquarters, with the bath, because they bought Douglas's bath, this huge, heavy, wrought-iron kind of thing, and it took like 6 people to carry this thing into the room we were filming in.
Take the water out there.
We wanted it for the show, but there was no way it was going to be able to be
They
brought
weren't
over.
going to put it on the stage, But so that's why we were there. But when Stephen turned up, we knew that we only had like 1 hour with him, and we had to do everything in that hour. So he turned up. It was a little sort of window into his life, and I imagine Douglas might have been like this when he was at his most busy. Stephen turned up and went, "Hello everyone, right, now what are we doing?" And so we do, oh yes, okay, and remind me what do you need for, and it was like, and then all of a sudden there was a taxi outside waiting to take him to the next engagement. And he lived every day like that. And so I think, yes, his sister tried to barricade him against all the other things.
Yes, definitely. Joe used to have a different time.
So Douglas, he would have just joined the thing, and they were great mates. So you can see why, can't you?
Well, there was always this argument about who had the first iMac in the UK. Douglas always used to say he had the first and a second. Stephen said, no, I had the second, so they agreed that Douglas had the first and Stephen had the second. And any new technology or software or anything else, they'd both get it and get on the phone. What do you think of it? And they both used to try and break things as soon as they came out. And that was one of the things that Stephen said he missed so much when Douglas died, was the number of times that he would actually go to the phone and think, oh no, I can't, because he wanted to discuss the last bit of technology. But one of the things that I think is a bit ironic, after the first Last Chance to See, they were talking about doing an update, because sadly, as we know, some of the animals did go extinct. But unfortunately, Douglas decided to go and die, so they couldn't do it. So we said, well, perhaps Stephen would do it. And he did. And the ironic thing of that was when Douglas did Last Chance to See, the original one going around the world, Stephen was house sitting his flat. And used to get all these phone calls at weird times of the night, with Douglas just not coordinating, thinking what the time is, it was the right time to phone where he was, so it was the right time for anybody to receive his call. And so when Stephen, it almost seemed right that Stephen did the follow-up, because he put up with all this aggro for a year of looking after his flat and getting these weird phone calls.
When we did that interview, Stephen said, yes, I've been in that bath.
Did Douglas view Stephen Fry as a sort of protege? He was like the next generation of footlights.
Apparently Stephen did say that he got into writing, and a lot of the things that he did do because of Douglas. Douglas was pushing him into it, saying, oh, you should speak to so-and-so, and you should do this, you should try that. And it is said that Stephen is involved in some of the things that he is because of Douglas.
So, just on Mark Harding, he's doing a talk on Last Chance to See at the British Bird Fair in August. He's doing an update. So if you're interested in Last Chance to See, it's in a nature reserve in Rutland. Find it online. Sorry.
No, I saw that. I can remember also one of the things in when the second series, the televised one of Last Chance to See came out. I was watching some of it with Mum, because it was difficult for her to see a lot of these things about Douglas on television. Mark had sort of almost morphed into one bit of Douglas, the grey hair and the sort of look. And Stephen was the other part of Douglas. You know, the worrying that he couldn't plug his phone in and he wouldn't be able to recharge that, it had fused, and all these things, and him panicking with his technology was just so Douglas. Douglas was on Wogan, but Sue Lawley was doing it. I think I mentioned this yesterday. Was it Friday? Good girl, was it 2 days ago? And Mike Palin was on it as well. He'd just done the poll to poll, and Sue said, "What were the things that you missed about, you know, of modern things, and what was it you missed when you were in these way out places and, you know, barren places?" And Mike Palin said, "Oh, grass." He said, "The one you walk on, not the stuff you smoke." And he was talking about it. Douglas started looking very sheepish, and I just knew exactly what he was going to say. And it came to Douglas's turn, and Sue said, "What was it you missed, Douglas?" "My phone." Any of his technology. In fact, I remember the first time he had a cordless phone in the house, he phoned me up from the loo with a sound effect so that he could prove that he was in the bathroom and he wasn't connected to a wire.
Yeah, there's, John Cantor mentioned that on the interview that I talked about earlier. Yeah, he said he thought, yeah, Douglas had this cordless phone, but wanted to let people know, so he made all his phone calls from the
loo. Yes.
Yeah. So it wasn't just for you.
No, he used to obviously wait till he needed to go to the loo, then he'd go and make a phone call.
That just reminded me of one of the interviews I did with Stephen Fry when he played Murray Bost Henson, a brief little cameo that he did in one of the Hitchhikers series. And he was talking about having the computers, the early computers, and the excitement that he and Douglas enjoyed when they got their computers wired up down the phone lines to talk to each other through the computers, except using a modem. They were so excited about this new technology that they, and then they would, if it failed and something went wrong, they would then have to resort to ringing each other up, which they did anyway. So why they needed the connection through the computer, Lord knows, but it was just the idea of it, I think.
I can remember when he first went, well, not the first time he went out to America, but when he went out this last time in 1999, I was very lucky that I went out. He'd only been there about a week when I went out there for 3 months. And he was sorting the house out, and of course the first thing that he had to get sorted out before anything else was all the technology. And that was the very early days of Wi-Fi or networking, cordless, whatever you want to call wireless. And he was determined that while I was there, I was going to be able to sit out by the swimming pool on a computer without any wires. There was a lot of blue air, lots of phone calls, but he did manage it. And I think one of the saddest things that I think about a lot is that Douglas has not seen the current level of technology. A lot of it he inspired, as far as I'm concerned. The iPad is the book. And he never even knew an iPod. And I just think it is so sad. I mean, I can remember having a conversation with Douglas. We were all walking along the road, and suddenly the conversation changed. And I thought, what? And it's because he'd got his earpiece in and his phone in his pocket, and somebody phoned him and he'd answered the phone, and suddenly he was having a completely different conversation. And as we all know, he just loved technology, and the fact that he hasn't seen anything that's out there today, I really think is a great shame. He would be having a ball. On the weekend that he died, they had the varying websites that he was involved in. And Mike Nesmith said that he checked on all the websites the weekend that he died, there were 10 million hits. Now, if you can imagine with Twitter and Facebook, and the messages we were getting from people from all over the world were just absolutely mind-blowing. And I think as a family, especially for Mum, I think that was when it really became apparent of how far he'd spread and how much he meant to so many people and what he did meant to so many people. There was one guy that wrote, I'm dyslexic, and he said, I never was interested in books and reading or writing until somebody gave me a copy of Hitchhikers, and that's completely changed my world. and things like that. It just really brought us home to it, how much he meant and how many people he'd reached, and it was humbling.
The year Douglas died, 10 million hits was more than half the damn internet.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay,
That was
so-
over a period of 3 or 4 days, yeah.
So, I think we talked quite a lot. But not expected. So, have we got any questions from the audience? So any questions from the audience for our distinguished panel of people who knew Douglas? I'll come down. Can we go, Madam President?
Well, actually, it's more comment than anything else. Hearing this about Douglas makes me so damn proud to be president of ZZ9, and hearing about all the stuff he's done. I think about, I guess, the sort of things I volunteered for and everything, and I've been sitting here thinking, that makes me think of Douglas. That makes me really, really happy. So I hope you don't mind. I just wanted to share the pride I have and why being president of ZZ9 means so much to me, and it's all about that.
Thank you very much. I have to say, the whole experience to me is very surreal in a way. I mean, a lot of people used to say, what's it like having a famous brother? And I just said, well, he was my brother. You know, what he did was almost accidental. And so one thing Mum could never get over was the longevity. She just couldn't understand that this was going on for so long. And the fact that each generation is catching on to it. I mean, I said the other day, my niece, James's daughter, at this half term, the book at school is Hitchhikers Guide to the Galaxy. So the rest of her form are a bit pissed because they think she's got an advantage.
Any other questions, comments?
Yeah, comedy. What kind of comedy would Douglas like? What did he particular favour Radio 4 comedy? If you went out to see somewhere, would you go to see stand-up? Was a favourite stand-up comedian?
I mean, it was P.G. Woodhouse was one of his favourites that started him off.
Yes,
And he used to enjoy
Woodhouse and Vonnegut. I mean, he loved what's his name? War. You know, so classic English humorous literature. I always felt, although the one time I suggested this to Douglas, he denied it. I always felt that Hitchhikers was essentially The Wind in the Willows on a galactic level. Mole is Arthur Dent, Ratty is Ford Prefect, who likes having party, and Toad is very much like a Beaglebox. And he said, no, I don't think it is. In terms of the comedy thing, I mean, he was obsessed with Footlights and Python.
Well, I was going to say, he said he wanted to be John Cleese.
He wanted to be John Cleese, and the one
Until
who
he realised the job had already been taken.
Well, he used to say that, and then it took me much later, far too late to companies, that a few years later he got the job co-writing Monty Python sketches with Graham Chapman, so he did actually get the job of being John Cleese.
Wasn't he only the second person ever to be credited with writing?
Douglas and Neil
for-
Innes were the only two people, Monty Python credited. One of the very bizarre things that I found out, it was too late to put in the book, he's in the audience in an episode of Not the 9 O'Clock News. So, somebody sent me a frame up. There's an episode of Not the 9 O'Clock News. They very rarely showed the audience, but they had some joke about the Queen, and it cuts to the studio audience, and there's Jeanette Charles, the Queen of Rock, sitting there, and next to her, strategic position, is Douglas Adams. And somebody sent me a frame grab of that.
I thought you were going to say, because there was a sketch where they identify a chap as Douglas Adams, but it was somebody else playing it.
It was a sort of a fat guy, like a Roman emperor, with sexy women around him, feeding rapes, and various succession of captions said who it could be. And one suggestion was Douglas Adams with some of his accountants.
We don't talk about his accountants.
I have a question about what Douglas might have done if he'd still been here. And there's a lot of mythology around the struggling artist, and I suspect that when he wrote Hitchhikers, he kind of was the struggling artist, and that was the only thing to do. And when fame happened and success happened, all these other opportunities came in, and that creativity wasn't being ploughed into a single project like Hitchhikers. I wonder if you think he would have ever had the discipline to go back and create something new and fresh that we would all be celebrating today. Or not, or maybe the fame was just we were too interested in technology and it never would have happened.
I know he wanted to do a lot more involved in technology and conservation and stuff as well. He was very, very passionate about the conservation. And there was a lot more to come from Douglas. I don't know exactly what form it might have taken, that you might know more.
I mean, personally, I wish he'd written so much more non-fiction, because Last Chance to See is so good.
Last Chance to See was his favourite.
And when you look at Salmon of Doubt, the highlight there is riding the waves. Fantastic stuff, and you know the Is There a Digital God, exemplar speech. I mean, unfortunately, he got trapped in this thing of being this best-selling novelist, and he really never wanted to be a novelist, didn't he?
No, he used to find writing incredibly difficult. Script was one thing, but writing his books, he just used to say it was literally blood, sweat and tears. He'd almost sit there. This is why he had all these marvellous things originally. It was very difficult when you got writer's block to go. This is why he ended up in the kitchen making cups of tea and peanut butter sandwiches. And in a way he said thank God for computers, because then when he had a writer's block he could reconfigure his operating system, and he had all these other things that he needed to do when he just couldn't find writing when it wasn't flowing, and sadly it didn't flow a lot, as we all know, with his famous saying of loving deadlines. There was one time when he was actually put into a hotel room to finish, which book was that?
Several of them.
Several of them. And he was only allowed phone calls to or from family. He was allowed out for one run a day. Otherwise, he was not going to leave that hotel room until he'd finished this book.
I think that's restaurant.
Was that restaurant?
Restaurant was very
It was pretty much all, I mean, when you look at pretty much everything that he wrote after the early stuff was done under pressure.
Yeah. But that's when he wrote his best.
Well,
some people say.
He needed, I think the key word that Jane used was discipline.
Yeah.
He needed a Jesse Perkins or Simon Vett or Sonny Mate or
Siegfried Stone.
He needed somebody, but he needed somebody very sympathetic and the time to do it. And, there's no novelist out there who can sit down and in 4 weeks, trapped in a hotel room, bang out a great novel. So.
What about Terry Pratchett? He could do it.
Yeah, but not in 4 weeks, and he needs a good editor as well. And looking back at the later years, leading up to Anonymous and then beyond that, it's really a shame that he was being forced into these things by publishing contracts. And yes, we would all like to write another Last Chance to See, but it was his weakest selling book. So from the publisher's point of view, it's like, no, Douglas, we want another novel about the crazy sci-fi guy.
From the conservationist people, Mark said this to me once. He said that book did more to the conservation than just about anything else, because it opened up to a whole world of people that would never normally have picked up a book about conservation. And he said it had such an impact. In some of the books that were being sold, there was this, used to get this voucher in that you could send some money out to New Zealand for the kakapo. And apparently, way after this was supposed to have finished, 10, 15 years or so later, they said they were still getting donations because people had read the book. They were still getting donations being sent out to New Zealand for the kakapo.
Simo, do you want to talk about some of those unmade things that were planned at the Digital Village?
I can look at the book and see what it says.
I think there was going to be a 13-part series a la Civilization called Life, the Universe and Everything.
Yes, there was a lot of ideas floating around. The Digital Village, which is this big multiple media company they had, and Douglas was very good at coming up with an idea for a thing. It was the discipline of sitting down and then creating great details. So the idea was very much that he would have this idea and sort of the basic Bible, as they say, and then somebody else would go and write it. And there was a whole bunch of fairly major budget science fiction series that they were talking about that were going to be big sci-fi shows. But the Digital Village it was again, that was a real missed opportunity. It didn't go anywhere. He got trapped in this thing, producing this one damn computer game that they didn't set out to make computer games. They were TV people.
Yeah.
And
I actually, I went for a couple of meetings at Digital Village for a project that was going to be looking at all the cliches of science fiction, and I've forgotten the woman's name, which was part of the Digital Village. I was working on Space Jam at the time. It was around that area. Mary something, yeah. And we discussed it all. And what Douglas really wanted to do with him, that he just popped into one of the meetings and then left us to it. It was just an idea he had on, sort of, here, you go off and do this. But I pointed out it was going to be very expensive. What they wanted to do was take lots and lots of classic movie clips and talk about all the cliches in them. And it was like, I looked at the list of, we'd need clips of just about every big movie that had ever been made in the science fiction genre. It would have been fantastic, but God knows who would have afforded it. One of the things you said earlier about Douglas, Jane said about Douglas, what have we missed and what might he have done? Geoffrey McGibbon said something I thought was absolutely true, is that when Douglas died, he'd only just got used to the idea of being a parent. And as time had gone on, what we've been deprived of, apart from the obvious for all those that loved him and knew him and worked with him, is that we've been deprived of Douglas Adams, the father, as author. We would have got more of his perspective on, Polly growing up and what it was like to watch that. He said that thing about watching a baby rebooting. Is that the idea of the mind kicking in? And he was fascinated by that, but he didn't really have time to put that down in words for us to enjoy.
No, she was so young when, Mum was flying out to America when it happened. We knew about it in the UK before she did. She landed at Heathrow, at LAX, expecting to see Douglas and Jamie there, not looking down for a card, but looking up here, because Jamie was very tall as well. And eventually a driver came up and took her to the home, and to Polly running down the driveway, launching into Mum's arms, saying, "Oh hello, Daddy died today," and that's how Mum found out.
Oh, God.
But she said immediately she was in the right place. That this little 5-year-old, it was just almost just a saying to her, "Hello, Daddy died today."
Yeah. But what's Polly like nowadays? We haven't seen her she went away to university. I've not seen her.
She's just finished. She's absolutely brilliant. She's taller than James, which James is very upset about. She read philosophy.
I had to explain to her that there were some philosophy jokes in Hitchhikers. There'll be a national philosopher's strike. Who will that inconvenience? And she didn't know about that.
So no, the family see quite a lot of Polly, and she's actually great. She really is, and obviously she was too young to understand and really appreciate Douglas's work or what he meant to a load of people. And as she grew up, we have enlightened her to her father's work and his life and stuff before, and she says she can't believe it. I mean, she's just so proud of him and just wishes that she had been able to experience some of it herself, which sadly she was never able to at 5, you're just too young. No, Douglas was a doting dad, definitely. But it's very strange because neither Douglas or Jamie actually had much control over Polly. When I was out in America, I used to look after her, and I'd put her to bed, and I'd come down after about 20 minutes, and they both used to look at me and go, "Is Polly in bed?" So I said, "Yeah." "Has she had a bath?" "Yeah." "Have you read her a story?" "Yeah." "Is a tape recorder on?" She used to have this music and this thing. I said, "Yeah." "But there's no noise." I said, "No, she's going to sleep." They used to take about an hour and a half. "But Mummy, can I have this? Daddy, can I have this?" Because they were completely wrapped around.
So they had this code word didn't they? Dodag. But basically, if either of them got incredibly indulgent and was going on and on and on about Polly, one of them was, the other one was Dodag, which stands for darling, our daughter's a genius.
And also, Mummy used to have this dog, and she was always going, no, to the dog and whatever, and bad dog. And so for years, Polly actually called our mother Bad Dog No. That's what she was known as. And we'd be out somewhere, and she'd be going, Bad Dog No, and Mum would turn around and go, yeah? And we used to get some very strange looks.
I think at that point, on that happy point, I think we'll call it a day here. So next up in here is